Welcome back to Learn English with the Hobbit, episode 54. In today's scene, Gandalf finally unlocks the Troll's Cave, and what they find inside is a mix of treasure, swords, bacon, and a very bad smell, as always. We'll explore rich vocabulary that comes straight out of Tolkien's world, and we'll learn it in context through storytelling. Why on earth didn't you mention it before? They cried. Gandalf grabbed it and fitted it into the keyhole. Then the stone door swung back with one big push, and they all went inside. There were bones on the floor, and a nasty smell was in the air. But there was a good deal of food jumbled carelessly on shelves and on the ground, among an untidy litter of plunder, of all sorts from brass buttons to pots full of gold coins standing in a corner. There are lots of clothes, too, hanging on the walls too small for trolls. I am afraid they belonged to victims, and among them were several swords of various makes, shapes, and sizes. Two caught their eyes particularly, because of their beautiful scabbards and jeweled hilts. Gandalf and Thorin each took one of these, and Bilbo took a knife in a leather sheath. It would have made only a tiny pocket knife for a troll, but it was as good as a short sword for the hobbit. "These look like good blades," said the wizard, half drawing them and looking at them curiously. "They were not made by any troll, nor by any smith among men in these parts and days. But when we can read the runes on them, we shall know more about them." "Let's get out of this horrible smell," said Philly. So they carried out the pots of coins and such food as was untouched and looked fit to eat. Also one barrel of ale, which was still full. By that time, they felt like breakfast, and being very hungry, they did not turn their noses up at what they had got from the troll's larder. Their own provisions were very scanty. Now they had bread and cheese, and plenty of ale, and bacon to toast in the embers of the fire. After that they slept, for their night had been disturbed, and they did nothing more till the afternoon. Then they brought up their ponies, and carried away the pots of gold, and buried them very secretly not far from the track by the river, putting a great many spells over them, just in case they ever had the chance to come back and recover them. Whoa, what an adventure! From unlocking mysterious stone doors to finding ancient swords and troll gold. That was a packed paragraph, right? But don't worry, we're not just here for the story. We're here to learn. Let's zoom in on some of the most useful words and phrases from this part. They'll help you describe action, objects, and even magical moments more vividly in English. If you've been enjoying the series, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, so you won't miss out on upcoming lessons and adventures. Now, let's break down some of the most vivid words and phrases from today's scene. Why on earth? A strong way to ask why when you're surprised or frustrated. When someone says, "Why on earth?" they're not asking about the planet. They're just shocked. Like, "Why on earth didn't you tell me earlier?" Grabbed. Took hold of something quickly or suddenly. Gandalf grabbed the key. He didn't gently reach for it. He snatched it. This word shows speed and urgency. Fitted. Was the right size or shape to go into something. The key fitted into the keyhole perfectly, like two puzzle pieces matching. We often use this for clothes, tools, or anything that fits snugly. Swung. Moved or turned something with force in a sweeping motion. The stone door swung back. Think of a heavy gate opening wide. The word gives a feeling of weight and motion. Bones. the hard parts inside a body, usually left behind after death. Here, bones on the floor means something creepy happened, maybe a battle or worse. It instantly adds a dark, eerie atmosphere. Jumbled, mixed together in a messy, disorganized way. The food was jumbled everywhere, nothing neat or tidy, just tossed around. Like when your bag spills and everything's in chaos. Shelves, flat surfaces fixed on walls to put things on. They found food and treasures on the shelves. Imagine dusty old planks covered with stuff, like a forgotten storage room. Litter of plunder, a messy pile of stolen things. Plunder means stolen treasure, and litter shows it's all thrown about. Picture coins, clothes, and junk scattered like a pirate's messy stash. Brass, a shiny, yellow metal made from copper and zinc. Brass buttons were part of the loot. It's often used in decorations, coins, or old uniforms, heavy and old-fashioned. Victims, people who suffered or were harmed, especially by violence. The clothes too small for trolls probably belonged to their victims, a sad reminder of past attacks or captures. Caught their eyes, grabbed their attention, looked striking or interesting. Two swords really caught their eyes. They stood out. We use this phrase when something is visually impressive or noticeable. Scabbards, covers for swords, usually worn at the waist. These scabbards were beautiful, fancy sword holders. Think of knights drawing their blades from decorated leather sheaths. Jeweled hilts, sword handles decorated with jewels. The swords had jeweled hilts, like treasure from a fantasy film. It tells us these weapons were no ordinary troll tools. Leather, material made from animal skin, strong and flexible. Bilbo's knife had a leather sheath. Leather is used for shoes, bags, and protective covers. Classic and durable. Sheath, a case for holding a knife or sword. The sheath protects the blade and helps carry it safely. It's like a sword's home, usually made of leather or metal. Pocket knife, a small, foldable knife meant to be carried in a pocket. For a troll, Bilbo's knife was tiny, like a toy. But for Bilbo, it was perfect, like a personal mini-sword for adventuring. Blades, the sharp-edged parts of knives or swords. Gandalf called them good blades, meaning strong, well-made weapons. A blade can be deadly or beautiful, or both. Smith, a person who makes things from metal, especially weapons. These swords weren't made by trolls or any smith around there. A smith is like a metal artist, creating tools and weapons by hand. Untouched, not used or affected, left as it was. The dwarves took only food that was untouched, nothing bitten, spoiled, or troll-handled. Just the fresh, safe stuff. Troll's larder, a storage place for trolls' food. A larder is an old word for a pantry. So, the trolls' larder was where they kept their meat, bread, and whatever else they didn't eat yet. Provisions, supplies, especially food for a journey. Their provisions were running low. That means they didn't have much to eat. In stories, this word often comes up during long travels. Scanty, very little, barely enough. Scanty provisions means not much food, just scraps. It paints a picture of adventurers getting hungry and desperate. Embers, glowing pieces of wood or coal left after a fire. They cooked bacon in the embers, those hot, red pieces that stay after the flames die down. Perfect for a campfire snack. Buried. Hid something underground. They buried the gold secretly. This isn't just digging. It's hiding something valuable for later, like pirates or sneaky adventurers. Far from the track, away from the main path or road. They hid the gold far from the track, so nobody would accidentally find it. Great for keeping secrets. Spells. Magical words or actions that cause something to happen. They put spells over the treasure, like locking it with invisible chains. Spells add a layer of magic protection in fantasy worlds. Recover. To get something back. They hope to recover the treasure later, meaning they wanted to return and take it again. This word is used when retrieving lost or hidden things. And that's it for today's journey through Trolls' caves and glittering treasures. We learned not only what happened next in Bilbo's adventure, but also discovered powerful words to add to your English treasure chest. Keep reviewing the vocabulary. Maybe even try using some of these words in your own story or journal. And hey, if Gandalf can read ancient runes, you can definitely master English words. I'll see you in the next episode with more story, more learning, and of course, more adventure. Until then, stay curious and keep going.